Hey guys, this is Jeff from ZenTrader.ca with a market update, and I have some gold chart here as well, and I'm going to go over Apple. So let's start here with the NASDAQ 3-line break chart, and behind it the indicator is the McClellan oscillator, and then for those interested, this line here, this is the tricks. But the McClellan oscillator is really what I want to focus on here. Is we're starting to get down to a level which generally means, well, not generally means, but in the past the markets have bounced. And so I would say this 2300 level is a pretty good level, meaning there's not that many times that it's really come down and penetrated it, and there are quite a few times where it's kind of just reached down there and then has bounced. So if you want to take an average, and yeah, there are these outliers here, like for example here and here, where the market's really gained some steam to the downside. But I don't think that we're quite in this kind of a market. This is really a free-for-all. Same thing here. You can see the market's really got a head of steam coming to the downside. And when you just look at a simple daily chart, I mean, you can see that this sell-off is just not that much. And it's still well above the 50-day MA, so it really could pull back a little bit more. And that would not really disturb the uptrend in any way. I mean, you can see that it even comes down and sometimes it dips below that before it really starts to rally. And but there are times like here where it doesn't come all the way down. So you have to try to put the pieces together and be like, okay, are we in this kind of market where there's like a free-for-all? And at this point, no. And so you look at the SPX, it's come right down to support at the 50-day moving average on, I wouldn't say extremely high volume, so wouldn't indicate distribution. And this is August, right? So typically the last couple of weeks of August, it's a pretty difficult time to trade as well. A lot of fund managers take that time off, and there can be some volatility. And I would almost say that a lot of times these last 2 weeks are bullish. So I don't know if that's a seasonality rule or anything, but just from my experience, it seems like. So yeah, and let's go to the TSX, because this has been a pretty strong market due to what we've been seeing in the gold, because it's very heavily laden with gold miners and commodity stocks. And so out of the NASDAQ, let me just recap. My timing signal remains bullish for all three markets. And so if you're worried about any of them flipping to the bearish side, that's not the case. And in fact, it would take a lot more serious selling for those to flip. So we still have a cushion there. So it's still okay to buy stocks on the long side. I bought some stock last week. Added some long positions, so I feel comfortable that the markets will continue to go higher, or rather I don't see anything that is discouraging against that. And now so the TSX is pretty strong, and gold, I really want to caution people not to get too caught up, especially in the minor stocks. They've had some pretty significant swings higher. Let me look at SLW, because that's one that I looked at over the weekend. And I mean, when you look at where it's come, and let me just actually stretch it out a little bit longer, because this really puts it in perspective, the downtrend that we've seen in this. And so this is a significant move from below 18 to above 27. And so you need to be taking some profits, bottom line. This is not a bullish move. This is a reactionary move. This is a counter trend rally. And I would just be very cautious. If you're fortunate to buy down here, at least take half off and let the rest ride if you really want to have some exposure to this side. The VIX is not signaling much fear, which that's actually not a good thing if you're long. But again, this thing can just languish down there for a long time. I really want to get to Apple real quick. It's at some resistance, and I think a long-term bottom is in, and I think that this 460 level will provide some good support going forward.